Hello, everyone. It's Tuesday, the 14th day of June, 2022. Happy Flag Day. This weather update brought to you by Cowboy State Daily. Cowboy State Daily has more original Wyoming news content than any other news organization in the state. Cowboy State Daily, sign up for their daily newsletter and check them out on their Facebook page. As we take a look at what's ahead, first of all, very cool temperatures in some areas. Much cooler temperatures will be found everywhere, but certainly in the northern areas, temperatures will be quite cool relative to average today and tomorrow. Thunderstorms coming by the weekend. So be ready for the cooler weather, but we are going to snap back, just like a rubber band. We're going to snap right back to warm summertime temperatures in the region by Thursday, lasting through the weekend. So it's going to warm up very quickly after this cool down. Subtropical moisture coming northward is going to bring thunderstorms, especially west of the Divide and in the southwest United States this weekend into early next week. It's going to bring some badly needed rain to some areas. We'll show you well. Also, we'll talk a little bit about the Yellowstone flooding and kind of what came together to bring that, and basically also a little bit of an historical perspective on patterns that we've seen before like this. Now, taking a look at the satellite image, we again see the swirl of clouds up here with the low. We have the frontal boundary right here coming back to the low. So this is going to bring in the cooler temperatures into Colorado later today and in the High Plains region, but certainly it's up here where we're feeling the air that will be the coolest with this front. And here's that trough spinning up over southern Canada. Boy, it's an impressive system for this late in the year. So there's going to be windy conditions here on the base of the trough. That's one thing to talk about. It got pretty windy last night and late yesterday in many areas. I-25, I-70, Interstate 80. You're going to have winds today gusting up to 50 miles an hour or more. And that wind is going to even be persistent right into the day tomorrow. The hot weather that's in the west and central will get pushed to the southeastern United States with this front, while the west cools off. And here you can see the temperatures today relative to average. Wow, that is a significant cold for this late in the season, and then the real warm air getting pushed off to the south and east. As we go forward, high pressure gets better established a little bit more into the south central and southeastern areas of the United States, while yet another trough comes in south out of the Gulf of Alaska. Now, if we are to follow the circulation, the way the wind blows around the high, we've got that southerly wind flow coming into the Rockies here starting as early as Thursday. So that's why Thursday temperatures start to jump up as the door is open back to the deserts, and that heat comes back up from the south and west. This is also going to help that along while cool weather comes into the Pacific coast. So the heat's going to expand, especially in the southern plains, but also into the central and southern Rockies. Temperatures relative to average by Friday really warm up. Look at that big warm up that's coming. Northern and central California and the west coast feels the effects of that low. So there's going to be some contrast here. The blue here seen over New Mexico Friday afternoon. Well, that's because of clouds and thunderstorms. I'll show you that here in a minute. So don't be discouraged by the cool weather, especially in some areas of Wyoming and Montana today and tomorrow. There'll be some areas today that don't even get out of the 50s and lower 60s. But don't fret, summertime temperatures are coming back. By Friday, high builds, goes a little bit more to the north, and that southerly wind flow continues using both of those pressure systems working together. So the air literally is coming right out of Central America and Mexico, right up into the Four Corners in the desert southwest. And that continues through Sunday. This is Sunday afternoon. Notice this low off the west coast tries to push in against this high here, but this low will weaken considerably. But it will bring cooler, wet weather back into the Pacific Northwest again late in the weekend and early next week. With that southerly flow, with those low pressure systems and high pressure systems working together, here's the precipitable water, the blue showing over or nearly 200% the normal amount of water vapor for the middle of June. So that's going to be an indication of where the thunderstorms are going to develop. So this is Friday. This is Saturday. Look at Arizona. Look at Utah. Look at southwest Colorado here. Now, along the northern edges here of the green, you're going to get showers and thunderstorms developing Saturday afternoon and evening as well. And here we go. This is for Saturday. Then this is for Sunday. You can see it gets pushed off to the north and east a little bit, and we've got a good deep axis of moisture right here. Notice drier air gets pushed in, and what this will do is this drier air will come in and reduce the thunderstorm chances by Tuesday and Wednesday. But basically between Friday and Monday, afternoon and evening thunderstorm activity is going to be moving in. And look at the thunderstorm chances on Sunday getting really widespread here in that same arch that we just showed you here. So it's going to get into a pattern where late day showers and thunderstorms are going to get going. Yesterday we said the western slope is going to get into the action, and it will, especially here. Now, one thing about models and thunderstorms, the models don't really do a good job with thunderstorms. They really don't. But what they do is they just show you where they're going to form. So when you look at these precipitation maps, when it comes to thunderstorms, the amount of rain could be a lot more or less than what it's showing here. But one thing that does show up in all the data is this southwest Colorado Four Corners area right here and into New Mexico that really needs it, that could get some heavy rain producing showers and thunderstorms starting Friday and lasting through the weekend. And that would be great news. Colorado's western slope and mountain areas really need it, as well as Utah. And of course, it'd be great to get some rain around Flagstaff for that fire there. The fires in New Mexico look like they're going to get rained on, and some of that moisture is going to come northward. Notice the northern tier here still impacted by those Pacific lows, bringing more precipitation. So let's talk a little bit about the Yellowstone flooding going on right now. Lots of scenes like this where we're looking at rivers at levels we haven't seen in a long time, at least before a lot of these buildings and structures came together. What happened with Yellowstone was not something that just happened over 2 days, because this is something that had been building. So this is a culmination of events. And then by the time we got to the weekend, all the stars lined up. First of all, let's just show you what's fallen in the last 5 days. And you can see this axis of persistent heavy rain that went through the central and northern parts of Yellowstone and then across the Montana-Wyoming border area, arching back into western South Dakota. This area was just frequented. We call it training. Like a train, one car behind the other, systems would come through and make it rain from late last week and over the weekend over the same areas. This training is responsible for a lot of spring and summer flooding in the United States, where you just have the thunderstorms and the showers. What they do is they take the same path and they keep getting the same areas wet. Notice the contrast here, where there was no rain of any significance in the last 5 days. Now, this doesn't count what fell last night. So there was some rain in some of these areas last night. But this shows you the concentrated area of heavier rain. Also keep in mind, this is a combination of radar and satellite data and only a few measured areas. There aren't a lot of rain gauges in Yellowstone Park. There's some weather data, but not a lot. And that's another problem, is not the lack of weather stations, and there aren't as many river sensors as you would think in some of these remote areas of Yellowstone Park. So we just had this tremendous area of rain over the same areas over the last 5 days. But let's rewind. If we go back 60 days of precipitation, you can see that the same area here was frequented by the same basic weather pattern. We're far northern Wyoming and southwest Montana. So you see these purple areas? You're getting into 15, 16 inches of moisture over the last 60 days. So it wasn't just what happened over the weekend, which was pretty significant, but you add that on top of this, and we really have to give a bolster that May storm, that late storm that happened over Memorial Day weekend, that dropped 3 to 4 feet of snow and 3 to 4 to 5 inches of water. And then we've had a very cool, not the coolest, but we had a cool April and May in southern Montana and northern Wyoming. So that extra snow that fell in late May stuck around. It didn't melt out fast. So we had a lot of late season snow. We had cool temperatures. Then we had heavy rain with the big warm up this weekend. So basically all the stars lined up to produce the flooding in the Yellowstone Park area across southwest Montana and parts of northern Wyoming. So this was an event really 2 months in the making. It all culminated with what is happening right now. And if you were just to look, the 60-day rainfall relative to average, south central Montana, north central Wyoming, back into Yellowstone Park, you have 1 to 200, really 150 to over 250% above average rainfall concentrated in a narrow area here. Look at the amount of rain relative to average in terms of inches. This is a lot of rain and snow when you consider that some of these areas I just circled probably average maybe 15 to 20 inches of rainfall a year. Now, in the mountains, it's going to be more than that. But the same area that got all of the rain right here is the same area where we have the anomaly. And when you look at the pattern, if we rewind, this is the upper level pattern, 500 millibar pattern that we had Sunday night into Monday. But this pattern basically was the same one that sat there on Saturday. Basically, Pacific moisture, if you were to follow the trail of the air that was coming out of the Pacific across Yellowstone Park into southwestern Montana, this stagnant pattern for several days in a row just caused those showers and thunderstorms to fall right on top of the same area. Interestingly enough, if you go back and look at a pattern that was similar to what we just experienced, a lot of times I talk about analogs, like what is a year that is similar to what we just saw? Have we seen this before? Now, certainly this flooding in Yellowstone Park is at levels no one has really seen that we know, at least in the modern era. However, we have seen similar seasons where heavy rain and snow fell during a pattern that's similar to this one, meaning a La Nina shortly after a solar minimum. And if we go back to 2011 is a pattern that is remarkably similar to what we're experiencing right now. The purple here shows the persistent area of low pressure that was in the Gulf of Alaska and off the coast of British Columbia, while we had high pressure persistently in the southern plains and the southern Rockies from March 1st through June 15th, 2011. Now let me back you up and show you that map. You see that pattern? This is a pattern that's really been with us for most of the spring. These persistent lows coming in and out of the Gulf of Alaska and taking a track across the northern tier. And that's represented here by the purple, while the higher pressure and the drought conditions in the desert Southwest is highlighted here in the yellow areas. This is what happened in 2011. Again, 2011, strong La Nina. 2011 just coming out of the solar minimum. A very similar situation. Look at the soil moisture profile from January 1st through June 1st of 2011. See this yellow and green here? These are above normal soil moisture profiles in 2011. Look at that. So it's not exactly the same. In weather, you never get the exact same pattern repeating itself the exact same way, but the weather rhymes. It doesn't necessarily repeat, but it rhymes. Also of note, not only in 2011 was soil moisture above average in this area here for the first half of 2011. You see this? This is the opposite. This was the very dry, droughty conditions in the central Rockies and the southern plains going down into the desert Southwest, much like what we've experienced this spring as well. So a very similar setup. The outcome's a bit different, obviously, with the intense flooding. So this is a pattern that sometimes repeats. Doesn't happen every year, but it looks like something like this does happen, has happened in the past in similar scenarios. Have yourself a good Tuesday. We'll see you on Wednesday.